Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video that I've been wanting to make for a while now, and as Halloween is in the near future, I figured now would be the best time, if ever, to make this video, just to get us all in that spooky season. And so, as you saw by this title, in this video I will be talking about the process of being hired for Universal for Halloween Horror Nights. I will talk about what it's like to work it, perks, benefits, getting some insight into what the job's about, what it entails, and what it requires. If you're considering a job, this is a great video. Last year I worked for Universal Studios in HHN 27 in the streets as a purger. I will insert photos here.
This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge sanctioned by the U.S. government. Weapons of Class 4 and lower have been authorized for use during the purge. All other weapons are restricted. Government officials of ranking 10 have been granted immunity from the purge and shall not be harmed. Commencing at the siren, any and all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 continuous hours. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be unavailable until tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. when the purge concludes. Blessed be our new founding fathers.
Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is the audition. So when Universal puts out these auditions, it's usually about beginning of July. And so they cast very far into the advance. You will find out if you're hired usually within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just depends on that season. So this is a typecast audition, meaning they will go solely for looks. You don't bring a monologue, you don't rehearse anything, you just show up, you bring a headshot, you bring a resume, and they put you all in a group in a room and they go, tell me something about you. Like, they'll ask like one question just to break the ice. And so I think for mine it was like, what's the least favorite candy you liked receiving for Halloween? And you step up, you introduce yourself, and you say what candy. The best advice I can give you is to be prominent, to be out, not to be like weird, don't go too extra, like just be like, hi, my name's Trenton, and I hated Tootsie Rolls. They're disgusting. You step back, that's it. They just want to see that you have personality, that you're not shy, you're not timid, you don't want to be real quiet when you say stuff. Those are not the types of people that they are looking to cast in scare zones and houses where in some degree you are acting or stuff. In terms of speaking roles, if you see someone speaking at HHN, they audition specifically for that role. Those are auditions I have not done, so I can't speak too much on. I know that they get paid a little bit more, hired as speaking roles, but that's about it. After you're done with the room, they separate everyone in the original room into two rooms. Room that didn't make it, room that got casted. Those that got casted have to do some paperwork. Those that didn't get casted get sent home. It is truly crazy how they cast. I had people in there in my room, my first casting. I was a newbie, and there were people that were experienced. There were people that were working at Disney as characters as mascots, and there were people with more theater background than me, but ultimately I was what they were looking for, so I got casted and other people didn't. It is truly luck of the draw if you get casted. Even once you're casted, next year it's luck of the draw. I know people that have not been recasted, but you know, it just depends on what they're looking for, so don't ever be too heartbroken or read too much into being casted or not for Halloween Horror Nights. A lot of people get in it that are good, and a lot of people that aren't amazing actors get into it. It's just looks and appearance. Now, in terms of scheduling, I did full-time, so I was a hard cast, meaning I had a signed role, I had my costume, my mask, same costume every night, same mask every night, same scare zone every night, and I worked every event in Halloween Horror Nights except 2 events, like 2 nights I requested off. Not a lot of people are hard casted, but a lot of people will quit. A month into Halloween Horror Nights, something will come up, or they will see it's too draining or whatever, and so they will float around people. There's also reserves, which people that show up once or twice a week, and then they'll fill in spots, which with reserves it's really cool because you'll get floated, so you'll get to do this role one night, and you get to do this role another night. You get to meet all the different casts, and that's really cool. And then, you know, using your acting chops to play different characters is always a blast as well. So in terms of working in the streets versus houses, in the houses, you're in confined space, you have usually a trigger, and you have to mouth something, or something happens, and you just come out of your boo hole and you scare people. It is very confined, and from my understanding, more people get hit in houses, so, you know, whenever you're jumping in front of someone, their reactions get hit you, and when you're in confined buildings of, you know, a haunted house, there's only so much you can do. It is easy to report people. When they go through a house, you just tell one of your managers. They have managers all around in scare zones and houses. Now, in terms of streets or scare zones, I call them both. In terms of streets, you're less likely, you're better at avoiding people to being assaulted. They have managers all over the street, so if there is someone that touches you, hits you, you know, that's part of it. And part of the job of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal is there's a lot of people drinking, there's a lot of adults that are acting dumb, and there's a lot of people thrown out of the parks because of how they behave. Don't ever take it personal, things that happen to you, things that guests say. You know, guests would just say the stupidest stuff sometimes, and you can't do anything about it, but that's just part of that. You can only just tell a manager if it is something big enough, which I have seen. We have cops in the park, and the actor, it's up to the actor to press charges, and I've seen guests that have been pressed charges for purely assaulting a scare actor. So, in terms of the demand, you have to understand and be comfortable that you will get hit on, you will get people say obscure things, people will be obnoxious to you, rude. I mean, after about a week of it, I was used to it, and there's nothing I hadn't heard that no one else had said. People will like try to belittle you, or they'll act like they're not scared. People are just dumb. If you pay $100 to go to this event, I want you to be on edge. I want you to be scared. It's not an event where you pay $100 and then you bring your girlfriend and you're like, nothing scares me, babe. You just look stupid. Don't mess with the people who touch you. They're not supposed to. You tell the managers and all that. In terms of physical demands, I went all out for HHN 27, so I was full cast every night on the street. I was running around, and in terms of shifts, how it is you're 45 minutes on, 45 minutes backstage, and then 45 minutes on, 45 minutes off backstage. And you're paid throughout the whole time, and just alternates, you know, until the end of the night. So, my shift, for example, started at 7, I want to say. 7, I was D, so I was the last cast to come in that night for my scare zone. So I would come in at 7, and I would stay, and I would close the scare zone till 1 or 2, I don't remember, but I would get home later. So you have to be okay with driving at night. You have to be reliant on yourself. So, you know, there's a lot to remember about this job. In terms of physical demands for this job, I had a Fitbit, and I would track maybe 30 to 40,000 steps a night. I was always high energy. I was young. A lot of people in my cast were, you know, older, 30s, even 40s. I think there was even a guy in his 50s. I think the butcher, I don't really know. But, so, in terms of this casting job, there's no age limit. They're always looking for a type. I suggest everyone audition. Actually, the oldest person was a speaking role, and she was the sweetest old lady. I don't know, probably 60s, 50s. She was the sweetest lady. She was a spoken actor. She was the one on the bus. She was awesome. And so there really is no age limits to this thing. I saw people that were probably 50 in full costumed in other scare zones that were out in the streets. So it's just luck of the draw in terms of casting, but I suggest everyone that wants to audition should audition. So you'll go through shoes, you will be tired, it rains a lot, so you'll get pulled off if there's enough rain that people deem you to pull you off, but my scare zone, they just kept us on a lot of the time, which, I mean, I wasn't one for rain, but all the older people were always complaining about it. So some of the perks when working for Universal Studios, in any event, you get a team member card, so you get to park for free, you get to come in any day during off, you can come into the parks during any time at all, and it's like a season pass on top of you working for them, and you have that for a year, and you also get complimentary tickets to bring, I think, 5 guests a quarter. So Universal really does a good job in treating its seasonal actors and cast very well. In terms of pay, unless you're a speaking role, everyone gets $10 an hour no matter what. That's a pretty good, that was a pay raise from the job I had before, but driving there, it was very expensive for me to do tolls, to pay for gas. It was about an hour out of my way, paying tolls and gas there and back every night. But I did make a little bit of money, but just enough to pay what I needed to pay. It wasn't a job that I would do full time. Everyone had day jobs, and then at the night they would come to this and work this event for either money on the cash, for fun with friends. Everyone had a day job. No one else was just doing this event solely just because there was enough hours. It's getting seasonal. I know, again, speaking roles could get $15, so maybe a little bit better with that, but and just the rent for it to live anywhere near Universal is very high, unless you have a lot of roommates, and even then it's still going to be pricey. I am a huge fan of Halloween Horror Nights, and a lot of people that are also casted are as well. So I was the later cast, so Halloween Horror Nights would open before I even had to clock in, and I could cut through the line and enter through employee interest and entrance and enjoy all of Halloween Horror Nights with little to no waits. All the houses, so it's like having a VIP ticket, but even better because you get even more perks working there. It is a great experience for anyone that loves Universal, for anyone that loves to be scared, or the magic or acting. Is a great job to do. I hope I'll be able to do it again. It's just this year I'm just too busy, but I will have a season pass and I'll be going there very often, just to see old castmates that are in new places, talk to them, catch up with people, go with friends, and really enjoy the event again, not being so drained from working there, but just enjoying it as a guest just like anyone else. I met a lot of great friends through HHN, a lot I keep still in touch with. I think that's all I have to say for this video. If you guys have any questions about it, I would love to answer it down below. As someone who just loves theme parks, who loves acting, who loves Halloween and scary things, it was the most perfect job in the world. I would have paid to do the job, and so it's just, I recommend it to anyone who even thinks that it would be a fun job. I promise. It is more fun than you can imagine. However, it is not a job that anyone would base a career off of. I see a lot of that happen, like people moved here, and you do not want to be only an actor in anywhere in Orlando working for Disney, Universal, because then you're just at the mercy of these theme parks. If they lay people off, if they don't do it this year, if they change their pay, it's not a good lifestyle. I know quite a few people that live like that, and they struggle and struggle and struggle, and so definitely have a day job or have another job that brings income, but is also flexible with your schedule of afternoons to spend with people, of not going out at night and having fun, because you will be doing this job and then you gotta sleep during the day. So there's a bunch of factors to consider in scheduling. However, if just one of you guys watching this video decides to do it, that makes me happy. Even if you're not even thinking about doing the job, just inside, please be respectful to all the cast and members of Halloween Horror Nights and Universal. So we just want to put on a good show. Don't ruin it for other people in your party when you're escorted away or removed from the park. Is not fun like that. Never drink more than you can handle, and that you will be a problem with. Don't drive home. They have cops planted all over the park. I saw it every day. Cops always pulling people over. They probably make a lot of money off all the tickets they get, because only Halloween Horror Nights is open at 2 o'clock. A lot of people leave trying to drive drunk, and police just have a field day with that. So also, I just wanted to show, I made a cool little shadow box here. After you do an event, you get a cool little Scareactor patch, and it says for the year you did it. That was the Don's line for this year. Behind these orange tickets you see in the background are like applauding you, so like good job. So either I scared a manager, or a guest went up to a manager and told them how good of a job I did. And I really loved my role. I lived it out. Here's another picture of me. There's my friend. You can't really see him. There's a good friend of mine who was also in my cast in the background. And then, as you can see there, and this is the sticker they gave me on the day we got fitted for costumes, and I didn't know what dog mask was. But a fun fact, in the Purge movies, it's this god, but the Universal changed it up to be not insensitive to people to religious people. That's the best thing we always chalked it up to. As his character, I always got asked that a lot, or people would bark at me. It wasn't funny. Got old really quickly. But there we go. I think that's all I got. Stay spooky, guys.